if you are absorbing Monster Producer correctly, okay, it should look like this, because this is very important. You should come live, which both of you do, okay? Then you know that you have the access to the accountability sessions every week. Now, I will tell you, we build those accountability. I'm actually doing one after this because we're getting so many people in there. I mainly hit on 4 things in those accountability sessions. It's the same thing over and over and over, right? So what I'm really trying to do is I focus on EOS, selling system, follow up. I almost put FU, but I better not do that. Did you get that on camera?
You know what my initials are.
So you got me sidetracked, Michelle. EOS, selling system, follow up, and then I get into the experience because I'm after those 5.7 referrals, and then you'll see me get into person of interest. Now I call this. My coaches have got me calling this the $1 million machine. Basically, this is the core of what I'm teaching people, right? Everything else really supports one of those things. So tomorrow in Monster Producer, I'm teaching Monster Attraction, which is really about person of interest. Okay, and also I'm really using every class to support these things, because to me, if you're doing these really, really good, you're gonna make a lot of money. Yeah. You got something valuable to say. You're out there saying it to people through the selling system. You have great follow-up, and you create a great experience. Right? Now, if you do those 4 things, this will drive up your person of interest score. And what will happen is you will build brand recognition, and people will begin coming to you. Yes. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I stay true to this, and I don't get off that system very much. Okay? And like I taught at Churchill today, if you can figure out where your missing structure is, you can go, hey, we're missing right here. Most people, well, some people just don't have a good explanation of service, so they don't have anything valuable to say. And I know you're spending a lot of time working on yours. Yeah. So a lot of people don't have a selling system, or they're not practicing all parts of the selling system. Right? I'm religious about hit lists, farm club, top 25. A lot of agents will tell me they struggle follow up. They just don't have the engine to follow up. And then, some people don't create a good experience. The reason this is being effective right now, some people have too much volume, so much volume that they can't create a good experience. Okay? So, now, but every week I do that, and you're welcome to be on that every week. If you want to get on there, there are people in the program that pop on there every week. They say, just coach, I need to hear you. Just need to hear your voice, right? 30 minutes. All right, so that's offered every week. Then, basically, when you come to the live, then you should get the replay of the live session. Now, I'm big on capturing information in various ways. So I listen to it. So you may be auditory, visual, or you have to experience it. So I actually go back and watch the replay myself. And I taught it just to see. And I'll pick up things that I say. And I'll go, man, we're not even doing that. We're not doing that. So this is the replay of the live session. Is everybody getting that? Yes. So, and you don't have to physically watch it. Listen to it like a podcast driving down the road. Okay? Now, then we also send you every week, you're getting strategy from me. Like today I did how to be a person of power and influence.
I loved that one.
And you're getting those, right?
Yes.
If you're not getting them, sometimes it goes to a spam, and we don't know that unless you tell us, hey, I'm not getting your emails. Okay? And I use Infusionsoft, which I think is pretty good. All right? So you're getting a weekly touch from me. Then we're throwing in these mastermind sessions, which are new. And these are basically just sessions for me to say, if you want to play pitch and catch with me, and you want to talk to me one-to-one, or you got something you want to throw at me, I mastermind all the time. When I was in Florida this weekend, I was mastermind with 3 or 4 other people. We had fun, and we talked business. And man, we got into all kinds of stuff, all kinds of business, okay? And I was mastermind with a guy who built and sold Reliant Realty, if you don't know who Scott Nagy is.
Yeah.
So Nagy, what he has that I don't have is he thinks in terms of building a business that doesn't depend on him. Mm-hmm. He don't want to do all the work. Matter of fact, he don't want anybody to even know he's there. Yeah. So I need a little bit of that because I'm always such a grinder. So he makes me think, how do I scale this? How do I franchise it? Okay? So we mastermind. Then we also send you the podcast version for all my ADHD people. And that's a 20-minute version of audio and video. And then I'm going to add one more thing to the equation. The 7th thing is we do off-site masterminds. And like I said, I'm going to introduce one in Seaside. That one will cost, some of them will not cost you anything, but I got to buy the place. I got to rent the big house. And so the money's going to the house, plus what I'm trying to do there is a 10-bedroom house. We mastermind in the mornings from 9 to noon, and then we sit out by the pool and drink margaritas and have fun.
That works.
And then we have more mastermind, then we go to dinner. It's just a kind of, and I'm going to do 2 sessions, one at the beginning of the week, Saturday to Tuesday, and then Wednesday to Saturday. So I'm going to get 2 groups of 10 people. Now, my hope is that through all of this, we are hitting you in so many different ways that it's sticking with you. You follow me? Now, some people miss a lot of this and don't pay attention to it, and it's not sticking. So imagine I'm hitting you 7 different ways in a 30-day cycle. That's what I'm trying to do. And these masterminds, I see they'll grow. So there'll be 6, 8, 10 people in there. Okay? So today is about you. I want you to say, here's where I need some perspective. Or here's where I'm struggling. And let me bounce around and draw it up. And I may say, Brandon, you're not looking at it this way. Or I think your problem is this. Like I said, yesterday was really good because we figured out some things that they needed. So, Michelle, you go first.
Okay. So I have my team,
Yep.
my real estate team, and we do a great job, and we're very productive.
Uh-huh.
On top of that, I have music,
Okay.
which typically that takes me away about 4 days a month.
Okay.
Then I've just taken on the new role of managing broker
Yes.
for this new firm.
Mm.
So my challenge is I'm being pulled in all these different directions.
Mm-hmm.
They're all wonderful directions that I want to be pulled in.
Okay.
But I want to get a handle before it gets out of hand.
Yep.
I want to get a handle on, you talked about it today, time blocking versus,
Yeah.
what was the time blocking versus, I wrote it down, something else.
Mm-hmm.
And it, versus HVA, time
Right.
blocking HVA.
High
Yeah.
value activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that as I go into the managing broker role where I'll be recruiting, as well as, taking on fire calls from agents that need my help,
Mm-hmm.
how do I, number one, make sure that I get those high value activities in every
Okay.
single day?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of trying to really almost plan out every single day
Mm-hmm.
down to the hour or minute so that I know I make sure I get everything done.
Okay. All right. So there's a word I learned many years ago called intentional congruence. Okay, and it's been very valuable. Nito Cobain, who is the president of High Point University, was I heard Nito speaking, and he's this immigrant that came over here, made a fortune, and while he was speaking, he was the president of High Point University. So he's got one of the hottest big universities in the country in North Carolina. He was also the chairman of the Great Harvest Bread Company. He was one of the biggest speakers in the world, and he was one of the biggest real estate people in the world, all at the same time.
Okay.
Okay?
I can
Now,
learn them.
so I'm sitting there going, man, how do these things tie together? He's president of a university, while he's also the chairman of Great Harvest Bread Company, while he's also, you see what I'm saying?
A lot of stuff.
And so I'm sitting there going, man, this stuff don't tie together. I can't get my mind around it. And he said, I want you to think in terms of intentional congruence, where all parts of your life feed all parts of your life. There is a symbiotic relationship between all of this stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So instead of thinking in terms of segmentation, if I'm going to segment my time from 8 to 9, I'm a broker, and from 9 to 11, I'm an agent, and at 4 o'clock this afternoon, I'm going to a singing gig. You see what I'm saying? I want you to think, when you hear me talk about the whole person, what I'm saying is we live one life. You have a body, a mind, a heart, and a spirit. All of that is part of one whole. And it all feeds into each other, okay? The better you feel here, the more confident you are. The more knowledge you have, the more confident you are. You see what I'm saying? All of this feeds one whole life. Well, I want you to think about that in terms of your business, is that it all feeds into everything. No different than when I was in Florida, I was playing and working at the same time.
I have a really hard time. I, for some reason, feel like I need separate, like turn
Yeah.
my phone off and then I'm not working.
Yeah.
But that's not realistic all the time.
Yeah, I don't think, so I just want you to think, primary flow is the number one source for my revenue. And this is where a lot of people get screwed up, is they are diverting their attention away from the primary flow. So what I talked about in Monster Surge a couple months ago is how do you get clarity about this? This is my money maker. Here's an example. I got a guy in Texas that runs a $100 million company, but he wants to speak and write books and do all that. So he gets over here, does Facebook Lives and all this stuff, and it don't bring any money in. Even when you write a book, it don't bring a bunch of money in. So he tells me last week, he's like, man, everybody's telling me, focus on your primary flow. Take your $100 million baby, where you're making millions of dollars, and go make 10 million. You see what I'm saying? And it's okay to write the books, but don't be confused about where your honey is. You follow me here? So he can write the books, but he was like trying to replace that with this. Okay? So I think you got to get clarity, number one, about your primary flow, which is what?
Which is my
Okay.
my team.
Okay, all right. Now, once you become good at what you already are, at what you do, then with your team, the broker piece to me is just like coaching. Mm-hmm. So it's a natural manifestation of just being good. Like I coach Bill and Takesha all the time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't cost me a lot of time and energy. It's part of the flow of life.
Okay.
So I'm kind of their broker.
Yeah.
And I come into work and I say, man, I got a couple things I want to run by you and let's talk. And then I do more formal trainings from time to time. And then I'm coaching them when I'm on the road. But I doesn't say, well, I need an hour to do that. And then I'm going to sell for 2 hours. And then I'm going to go over here and do my hobbies for 3 hours. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as one whole life. Intentional congruence. So here's what I would tell you. The music feeds the creativity for the real estate. So you don't need to feel guilty when you're doing the music.
Thank you.
And say-
Yes, I do sometimes.
You don't need to. I didn't feel guilty at all when I was in Seaside laying on the ocean this weekend. You know why? I'm thinking. I'm learning. I'm masterminding. Right? Most people can't separate those. Like I'm working, and then I vacate from work. And vacate means I don't even want to have anything to do with it. There's a time and place for that. But what I see happening is I'm a real estate agent and broker, and I go play music, and that taps into another part of my nature. And I get fed, and I get creative, and I bring some of this back over to my real estate. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's parts of being in a band, entertaining an audience, building a following,
Absolutely.
that real estate agents could really use.
Right.
So that's how you need to go back to this word, is give yourself permission to understand it's all part of one life. It's all part of one whole life, okay?
So how do you get clients to, I don't care if they're on board with me having a day off or whatever,
Yeah.
but so really the reason I feel guilty sometimes for taking a day off or whatever it might be is because a client says, well, can you meet me this day? I mean, I need you this day. So how do you set those boundaries?
Yeah.
And still be respectful of them and their needs.
Yeah, I think when you start getting high demand, you got to really be careful about this because you'll end up working all the time. So I set boundaries and I tell people, look, I go hard Monday through Friday, Saturday's off with my family, Sunday I'm in preparation, you know what I mean? And I kind of let people know up front, right? I don't mind you calling me or texting me, I just ask that you be respectful, you know what I'm saying? Now, so we have people in Monster Producer that will contact me all hours of the day, night, and we have some that I mean, like a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like every day.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
And you know, but I don't always respond to them. And I say, when I get home at night, I'm with my daughter. She don't get to see me a lot because of my job. So I may just hit them back and say, I'll get back with you tomorrow. but I try to set it up front. Okay, here's how one of my top mortgage originators does. He says there's one day I work late every week. If you want a meeting or to see something, I work till 7 on Thursday nights. And he kind of sets it up front. You see what I'm saying? I know I'm a professional just like you. I try to protect my time on Saturday. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he kind of lets everybody know up front.
Yeah.
I think if you do that, because this is where real estate agents get themselves in trouble, being available 24 hours a day. And they don't take control. I would take control right up front.
Yeah.
See, by me showing you the flow of Monster, what I'm really doing is setting boundaries. This is the way you should absorb this class.
I'm very good in the very beginning when I get a new client. I tell them my phone shuts off at 7 because there's no real estate emergency after that.
Okay.
What I'm not good about doing is weekends because the general public thinks that we work on Saturday and
Absolutely.
Sunday. But they also want us to be available Monday through Friday if they call us.
Yeah.
So when are we supposed to ever have
That's right.
time for ourselves?
That's right.
So how would you approach that part of it?
Do you want to work on Saturday and Sunday?
No.
Okay. Well, some of the big agents that I've worked with don't work on Saturday and Sunday. They have people that do, but they don't.
Right.
So they have
Which
a
I
team.
do have
Okay,
that.
so they have a team of people. So I want you to think of it like this. I use an entrepreneurial time system, which means I have focus days, buffer days, and free days. We have 365 days in a year, of which we get to choose what to do with them. These are money generating days that I'm working, and I'm open to the public. I'm client facing. Today's one of those days. But I have some days that I'm backstage. You know, you can understand this as an entertainer. That I'm not in front of people. You with me? I may wear comfortable clothes. I may work from my home office. This is buffer. So nobody. I'm working, but I'm not client interfacing. And these are off. Now, because I work on an entrepreneurial time system, okay, I may say that my days off this week could be Thursday. Like we're looking at doing one mastermind a month on a Saturday morning for people that can't come through the week. So Bill asked me, did I mind coming in and doing one on Saturday for people that can't come through the week? I said, I don't mind, one Saturday a month. Well, once I work on that, so Saturday's typically a day off for me. If I work on that Saturday, now it's one of these days. So I'm going to pick up one of these days somewhere else. Okay? So if you look at my schedule, it's red, green, yellow. Okay? The reds are protected, which means no scheduling. I don't care if I'm off on Thursday or Saturday or Sunday. I just need a day off. Well, when you're on all the time, this is the problem. Is you got 365 days of these 2 days with none of this. And I get rejuvenated by taking time off. So there's two things you can do. One, you can say when you first meet a client, I work late 1 day a week or 1 month. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I have someone on my team that will show houses on Saturday, if that's what you like to do, or Sunday, because I get it. People don't think about real estate sometimes to the weekend. So I do get that. Or you may say I work one Saturday a month, you know, but I'm trying to just control it so I get rejuvenation. The other thing I think you can do is take the mini retirements. For every 30 or 60 days of work, you take a long weekend. And you leave on Thursday and be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I do that a lot.
Like the 4-hour work week?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot. That's what I was doing in Seaside. So I left on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and I didn't come back till Monday night. So I was just time to myself. And so I'm refreshed when I come back. Well, a lot of people don't do that. So I'm doing that I'm doing it almost every other month. I'm taking a 4-day mini retirement. Now, that don't mean while I'm there I don't take a call every now and then. I just completely shut it off. But I'm a big believer in 1 day you need completely off. Just completely away from the business. Okay? So I think it's about setting expectation. It's about using an entrepreneurial time system. And more importantly, I also think it's about training your team, your assistant and your team, that this is the model I use. So let's say that Brandon calls and wants me to speak at a big event on a Friday, that's a protected day. Takesha's not going to book that. She's going to come ask me, Coach, Brandon has got something. It's on a protected day. What do you want to do? And I may say, I just can't do it. I'm speaking 7 times that week, and I need a break. So work with Brandon, see if you can find another date, right? Now, sometimes I'll take and open up a protected day.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's protected for a reason. I need a break, okay?
Yeah.
Now, back to your other question. Is the music a money generating thing for you, or is it for fun? So it feeds you money too?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that.
All right. So I think it's cool. I think there's ways you can tie that to a symbiotic relationship to your primary flow.
See, and I've always kept it separate because I fear what people will think.
I know. We got to get over
Because
that.
I look completely different.
Yeah.
than I do now.
Yeah. Hey, they may be turned on to that.
Well, that's my problem too. I don't want that to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, they may be. What I'm saying there is they may say
They may think it's cool.
she's a cool
Yeah.
chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when I saw that, I was like, she is such a cool person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that you're doing this stuff. So here's my philosophy. Some will, some won't. So what? I don't care.
I struggle with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm past all that. You got to get past that.
Yeah.
Because I could see you doing show. You know, there's. I just believe that there's ways that your primary and your secondary could be symbiotic, and symbiotic means they flow with each other. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whether it be showcase events or I love doing events where people, like in my house.
Yeah.
I love doing events where people can come and enjoy and relax and let their hair down some and just have fun. That don't mean we can't talk business while we're there. So we got to get out of our mind this segmentation. I just think the word integrity is integrated, whole. We live one whole life, right? So people ask me a lot about my faith. You know, I don't say, well, my faith is just reserved for Sunday morning when I go to church. I share it when I teach. I share it when I'm doing my shows. It's all part of one life. It's not compartmentalized. Okay, does that help you there on that?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
But you know, I think here's the deal. Your person of interest score could be driven up by your musical talents.
Yeah.
So I'd embrace that. I wouldn't be afraid of it. I'd say it drives up your person of interest score. Everybody wants to be in a band. I'd love to be in a band, wouldn't you,
Yeah.
Brandon?
I want to be in a band.
I mean, seriously. I mean, everybody wants to be a superstar.
If it comes out during a transactional
Mhm.
period,
Mhm.
everybody thinks it's very cool.
Yeah.
My concern is that if people know about that ahead of time,
Yeah.
because I've had it happen where
Yeah.
they think, oh, she's just going to be a rock star. How can she be a professional realtor?
That's right.
If she's doing this.
Yep, and that's a legitimate concern. All right, so let's say you're a financial advisor, and you're in a band, and all you ever post on Facebook is you being in the band. Then I begin to get confused about why I would let you represent me on my money. Okay, so I saw with a mortgage company, there's a guy who's a country music guy. All he ever posts on Facebook is him singing and playing, and he's also the main manager at a big mortgage company. And I think that is inappropriate. You with me?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at him going, does he want to do mortgages or does he want to be a country music singer? So you don't want to confuse the market. Does that make sense? And I think you
Yeah.
confuse the market
Yeah.
if all you posted is your band stuff.
So I have a personal page, which I really just do music stuff on that.
Yep.
And then I have a team page
Yep.
that I just do real estate. I mean, is that okay, or should I put some of?
I think I would personally tell you, okay, so here's what I think about personal pages. Until you become a big time person in the world. See, one of the first real mistakes I made, I wasn't big enough to have a fan page. Most of the people that follow me on my personal page, I integrate my whole life. So I put a lot of motivation, right? And then I also show pictures of me and my daughter, and me and my wife, and me having fun. So what I do is say, this is who Coach Burt is. Coach, he's all these things, right? I still post on my fan page, my business page, but I don't have the traction. I've got 5,000 friends and 2,000 deal. What I may do is most of those friends could be doing business with you too as a real estate agent, right? So I think you need to balance that out. And you need to show them that you're a real estate expert. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what you could be doing is confusing the market
Yeah.
about what her real passion is.
Yeah.
See, to me, Facebook is just a big website to push things out, and we just don't need programmers,
Yeah.
right? Can you get an amen on that?
Yeah.
I don't need to go through a programmer. It takes 3 weeks to get something out. It's kind of like my own little website that I'm saying whatever I want to, right? So what if all I did on my personal page was post me going to Seaside and me out partying and me having fun? You see what I'm saying? You may start to say, what?
Boy,
What's
does
he
he
really
work?
doing?
Is this guy,
Professional travel.
yeah, it's like, is he? So what we don't want to do is confuse the market.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of business to be picked up on your personal page. A lot of people, you know?
Yeah.
And I do get the separation. But like me, you know, now I've got 5,000 friends, so I can't get at him anymore. But man, it took me years to get there. And it's hard for me to drive people to my fan page. Now people have to go to my fan page because I can't get more friends. But now I'm diluting my stuff. So I'm putting stuff over here and stuff over here. I'm having to post it twice. See what I'm saying? Where I get real traction is on my personal page. So I just think it's okay if you put both of it up there. That'd be my personal opinion.
Gotcha.
That's probably my biggest thing right now then.
Yeah.
That'll be my big
Yeah,
takeaway.
and do both. You know, like I said, don't confuse. You know,
Yeah.
let's do both.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Brandon.
Man, I'm so excited to be in Mastermind.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, I wasn't expecting this. So anyway, one of the things that, I'm finding right now, I am building a new business. And for 22 years, I was a real estate broker.
Yep.
And which I had a lot of success in. But what I'm doing right now is something totally different than what all my talents were for 22 years.
Yes.
And so, because where I had this status here, I have no status right
There
here
you go.
in my new business.
Yes.
So I'm
That's good.
trying to transition that over.
Yep.
Now, what my problems are, I'm one of these, where I had buyer's agents over here, I have nobody here
Yes.
to help me.
Yes.
And what I also have is I've tried to basically hand off stuff. I hired a new company to do some of my social media posting, which is a social media marketing company. And I tried to get that going, but being the way I am, it doesn't work the way that I'm wanting it to work, because I still find myself coming back over and,
Yeah.
and one of the things that I'm finding is I'm not the only one that can shoot videos.
Right.
I'm not the only one that can make
That's right.
great posts that sit there and get a lot of followers and so forth. But at the same time, though, where I'm losing stuff is I am losing the fact that I need to be out in the field.
Yes.
And I have no business. I am doing low value activity.
Yeah.
It's like when I was in here today, that's what I was doing. I was doing low dollar activity,
Yep.
which is totally killing my revenue.
That's right.
And so I am at the point right now, I can't grow.
Yeah.
The model that I'm at right now, I can't grow. So for being in here today, that's really what I would like to see is, helping me with a model
Yeah.
to get that better.
Right. So here's one of the number one problems for almost everybody we coach. They got to get their revenue up, which means you're the chief salesperson. And no matter, because really before you begin hiring other people, you got to get your revenue up. See what I'm saying? But you got to say, this is the highest value of my time. I am still the chief salesperson. So part of my day every day has got to be on revenue producing things, right?
Right.
Every day, because right now you want more capital, right?
Yes.
What I have found when I outsource things like my social media, which I've done before, you know what I found? They can't do it like me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, and some part of me, the scalability part of me is like, I got to have other people do it. But writing my own blogs, doing my own posts, they don't think like I do. So every time I do try to do that, it don't work.
Yeah.
People say, did you write that? Because that don't seem like you write it. Like I can tell when big time people, somebody else writes their content. I can tell when people ghostwrite books. And I'm like, I heard you speak, and then I read your book, and your book is nothing compared. The biggest mistake I made on Zebras and Cheetahs when I wrote that book is I let the co-author write it. And he's a PhD. So people read my other books and then read Zebras and Cheetahs, and they was like, you didn't write that book, right? Now, when I explain it and teach it, then people would buy the book and say, I'm confused here. So I said, I'll never do that again. I will never let another person write my book. Never. Okay? So what I see with you is, I think you're right. You had status, and it's a big myth. I had status over here, and I want to carry all that status with me. Well, you were a real estate broker. So you spent 22 years becoming a person of interest. Now you're over here starting at zero, right? And you're trying to build some street cred.
That's right.
So you start thinking about how do people build street cred? Results, relationship. You see what I'm saying? But here's where I would keep you focused. Is every day you need to be doing one thing, selling. That's it. Selling, and a high percentage of your day, probably 80% of your day. Listen, just because I got Dr. Bill and Takesha, you don't think for 1 second. He's doing this documentary on me. Don't think for 1 second when you watch his documentary that I ain't selling every day.
Yeah.
When I'm on that bus, I'm on the phone, texting, emailing, bumping. I'm asking Bill who you struggling with, calling, following up, leveraging relationships. I mean, I'm selling. I would like to think all I do every day is wake up and coach. But that's not reality. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not reality. Steve Jobs was still the #1 salesperson at Apple. What was he doing when he's presenting? Selling. He's just doing it on a much grander stage, but he's selling every day. He was selling, when he did the iTunes, he was selling musicians on, you see what I'm saying? He's selling. What he's doing is just a much bigger scale, okay? So what you got to do is 80% of your day needs to be producing revenue.
Yes.
Then once you get your revenue up, then you go hire a person to do some of your low value activities. Now, I'm going to tell you something. We got a 20-year-old intern right now that we're paying $1,000 a month, and she's good, man. She is polished. Her emails are unbelievable. So here's what we do now. Come to this event like I spoke at Churchill. The intern calls all those people back. Did you enjoy the experience with Coach Burt today? Would you like to know more? The people that are interested, she then hands off to Bill, and Bill goes for close. But before, Bill was doing that. He's calling everybody. So he's been an enormous amount of time wasted. So now we got $11 an hour person that's polished enough to make phone calls, to handle low value activity. She's tickled to death because she's getting an entrepreneur degree. She wants to learn an entrepreneur. So she's doing some low value to free them up. But I think you need to be selling.
I do. I agree.
And that's it. This solves a lot of problems for a lot of people.
I agree.
This solves, I'm always focused on revenue. But you're right.
What I have trouble with is I can only handle so much of the business,
Yeah.
in a day.
Yep.
And I've got great clients. I mean, the ones that I've gotten, as a matter of fact, I didn't expect it. Yesterday I got, payment for, this month.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw in there $1,000 bonus.
Mm.
He said, "You've done so well for my company." He said, "Here." And I
Nice.
wasn't even expecting it.
Right.
And he had a note in there. And, but I'm making him money, but I can't continue
Yeah.
doing low dollar activity when, I can never grow this company.
Right.
Doing the low dollar activity.
Yeah. And where you're really good is, I think you're really good face to face with people. You're articulate. I think that's where you need to be spending your time out selling. Now, I don't know if you're selling bluegills or blue marlins. Are you selling high dollar things or low dollar things?
$3,000 a month.
Okay.
Client.
Okay. That's good. How many of those do you have?
I've got 4 right now.
Okay. Great.
But I can't grow after that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm at
All
a
right.
point
So,
right now,
no, so this is good. So when you reach this point where you can't, then you start asking, all right, so there's 2 ways you look at it. How do I take my primary and scale it up, or how do I build a symbiotic secondary? Like the assistance class that your assistant came to, we'll charge for that eventually. See what I'm saying? Year 1 it may be free, But I may come back in year 2 and say, look, if you want to send your assistant, it's just $99 more a month. But we pick up $25,000 off that.
Yeah.
You follow me? So once I've reached a limit on my scale, then I start asking, where's a symbiotic relationship that we can help people that they would pay for? So you may start saying, I'm getting $3K out of these people. Is there a way to increase it to $4,500 per client, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm picking up $1,500 per X number times 12. And the other thing is, how many months are they with you?
Oh, they're 12.
Okay, so that's good. So you got a recurring revenue stream. So, but I do think once I reach here, then I start asking, how do I take this and scale it up? Do I leverage time of people, other people's time, employees? How do I, how do I do that?
Well, it's kind of like today I called Tommy, Tommy Davidson, because his videos are amazing. And he said, I can't take credit for it. I've got Kathleen.
That's right.
Who just started.
That's right.
And so I asked him, I said, do you mind if I call her? Because I love what she's doing.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I mean, it's knowing that somebody else can produce the same thing. And that's where I've got to get rid of the control.
And when you hear a person say nobody can do it like I do it, that may be true, but those are words that you can't scale.
Yeah. And that's where
You know what my trainer said to me this morning? He's a little 23-year-old kid. He's in Monster Producer. And he's good. He said, yeah, coach, but everybody wants me. How can I scale it if everybody wants me? And when I hear those words, I'm like, you only going to have so many clients if it's just you, brother. You telling me you can't bring another trainer in here that people will be happy with other than you? See, that's our own ego telling us that. And I get caught up saying that. Well, they only want me a Monster Producer. And they may, but there will come a day that they may get Bill for a level 1 person. And then you got to graduate from Bill to get to me. You see what I'm saying? So I've suffered from that, thinking they only wanted me. I'm the only one that can do it. I'm less interested in that now. I'm more interested in how we take this puppy and grow it.
I want to get better.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. I want my product to get better. And
I still think you're in the beta phase of showing a demonstrated capacity with these clients. You go out there and get some serious results with them, and then you can show other people that what you can do. But $3,000 a month, you're bringing in $144,000 of revenue, which is really good. You know how many people would like that? Well, how many people would you? I didn't bring in that much money my first year. I brought in $75,000 my first year and lost 30. So you should have been coaching me. That's a true story. But when you reach the ceiling, you may get you an intern to handle the things. You're paying bills. You're doing all that crap. You may get you an intern to do that.
I just feel like a hamster on a wheel.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
Rat race. We got to get involved in bigger deals. Okay. All right. But you are doing good that you're showing that much revenue. I mean, a lot of people would take that.
I'm just very embarrassed to show Takesha when she asked me, how many did you pull?
Yeah.
Because I'm still sitting there being the hamster.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling the sales that I need to be pulling to grow and scale.
Well, your best attribute is out there in front of people face to face. And you were a broker for 21 years at RE/MAX?
22 years.
22 years.
22 years. Well, RE/MAX, Keller Williams.
Golly.
I've brokered several.
Wow, man.
ERA,
That's a big job, man.
Exit.
Yeah, okay. All right, what else? Michelle, you got anything else? Or have you got your steak and potatoes for today?
I think I got my steak and potatoes for today. Even though I'm a vegetarian, I'll take some.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, this will keep me busy for a bit.
Okay. Just remember the intentional congruence.
Yeah.
Just remember the intentional congruence. And is your buyer's agent is she pretty good?
She's fantastic.
Okay.
But she's fantastic when she is with clients.
Okay.
She is not fantastic at getting clients. So
Yep.
I am the
Rainmaker. Okay.
So that puts some extra pressure on as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, now you're getting enough people to the circus, you think?
Yeah. I'm involved in a lot, which
Okay.
is, I'm
Okay.
on the go.
Okay. So you feel like your person of interest score is pretty high?
I do. Yeah, I think really I think I'll find out for sure when I start this new thing because, I'll see who comes and follows
That's
me.
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It's
just
true.
because of,
Yep.
you know, the relationship that I have with
Yes,
them.
yes.
So we'll see how easy it is to recruit.
Okay.
I think that'll be a
That will be
tell.
a test. And when you build something that's attractive that other people want to be a part of, you know, I remember a time we were just trying to beg people to come work with me, and I mean, you know, and literally, because it wasn't that attractive. And now we routinely have 4 or 5 people a week that want to come work with me,
Wow.
and they're in lucrative jobs. Like, but it's not their, like we got a top nurse that delivers babies who wants to work with me because she said, you know, I love it, but I feel like I'm stagnant. And I don't think I could get stagnant with you. We got people that are selling pharmaceuticals that want to come work with. You know, these are big time people. And that's good because that's indicating that we're putting out something that people want to be a part of. And that's, I think, like I work with several owners of real estate firms, whether it be Wilson or Elam or, you know what I mean? And they're all, recruiting is their biggest thing. So they're all trying to figure out what they have to offer that other people want. And when you become a big-time person of interest, people are excited to be on board with you. The energy, you know what I'm saying? I think you can make it fun, energetic, but take all that and say, this is a place I want to be. This is something I want to be a part of. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Brandon? You got your. Did you get
gave me
fed
some
today?
Boy, I tell you, I got some great manna here.
Good.
Appreciate
That's right.
that. Thank you.
You know the story of God and the Israelites. So I gave him that manna just
That's
for
what I
the
feel
day.
like. That's what I
Then you
feel
got to
like.
get up and get it again tomorrow.
I tell you, it's every day.
Just for the day. Okay, well listen, thank you guys. Thanks for coming
Thank
today.
you.
And like I said, we want to do this so you get more one-to-one attention. And if you need anything, just ask us. Okay,
Thank you.
just say, hey, here's something I need to work through. But I think you'll really like this monster attraction piece. I'll show how it initiates the selling system. And imagine getting so many leads because your person of interest score is so high that you literally get to pick and choose who you work with and who you don't. And your stock is high, okay? And so recruiting becomes easier, selling becomes easier because people want to work with you, right?
Yes.
I spoke a week or two ago when Gary Ashton was there, and that's the first time he's ever seen me speak. And you know, I'm kind of at the point now that I like people's business, but I don't have to beg for it. So he came over at the end. I said, Gary, what you waiting on, man? I've worked with everybody else except you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just joking with him. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know, have you seen enough to make a decision? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm past all that sales flirting I used to do. You know, I'm like, look, you may want it, you may not. If you do, what's stopping you from making a decision, right? And what he said is they're spending a lot of money to drive leads,
They are.
and they can't get people to follow up with them appropriately. And I said, we ought to be doing $1 million follow-up with your agents. Because if I was spending that much money on leads and my agents wouldn't follow up, teach them how to follow up appropriately. You see what I'm saying? So you got a problem, I think we can help you. What's stopping us from doing business with each other? And if you don't want it, don't want it. I'll move on to somebody else. But I think it's taken me years to kind of start building that stock where, you see what I'm saying? We're building a brand, and it don't happen overnight.
Yes.
So you're starting your little brand from over here, from scratch,
Oh, way down.
right? And now, but it's building. And every time you get results, you're building more stock.
Yeah.
And then you build your little brand, you become a little person of interest in that space. Okay? So don't get discouraged.
Keep building the blocks.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Guys and girls, I appreciate you.